My child, before you hear another word from me, I need you to understand how this message reached you tonight, because it did not arrive by accident. It was not meant to be easy to find. Something worked to keep it from you, to let it slide past your eyes the way 1,000 other things have slid past you this week without ever touching the deep place that has been quietly waiting. Something moved to bury it under the noise of your life, because what I am about to say to you was never meant for a crowd. It was meant for you, but you stopped, you opened it. And that single decision, that quiet act of staying still when everything in your life has trained you to keep moving, is already being written down in heaven as the moment you turn toward the word I have been holding for you. Most of the people scrolling tonight will never reach these words, my child. You did. That was not chance, my beloved. That was arranged before you pressed play. And if there is a stillness settling over you right now, a quiet in your chest that was not there a minute ago, I do not want you to explain it away, my child. That stillness is not nothing. That is the part of you that already knows why you are here, finally being given permission to be still. Most people would have kept scrolling. You did not. That was not an accident, and it was not luck, my beloved. That was decided before you ever pressed play, and it means that what I am carrying to you tonight has your name on it and no one else's. So hear me now, my beloved, because I have come with something urgent, and I do not want the noise to carry you off before I have said it. This coming Monday, you are going to come face to face with your divine answer. I am not speaking in vague terms, and I am not speaking to a stranger. I am speaking to you. Something that has stayed sealed and silent is about to move, and nothing in heaven or earth can stop this meeting from taking place. It is not a general message dropped into a feed to comfort whoever happens to see it. It reached you specifically, my child, because the appointment it describes was written with you in mind. Proverbs 16:9 says, "A man's heart deviseth his way, but the Lord directeth his steps." You have devised many plans in your waiting, but I have been directing your steps toward a Monday you did not know was coming. And now I am telling you it is almost here. Can you feel something shift in you when I say the word Monday? Did a face rise in your mind, or a door, or a question you long ago stopped letting yourself ask? If something in your chest tightened or loosened just now, if your breathing slowed the moment I named the day, that is not random. My beloved, that is recognition arriving before your mind has language for it. If you felt it, type "I felt that" in the comments, not as a comment, as the first honest thing your spirit has said out loud in a long while. Because when you type it, the part of you that already knows finally hears itself speak, and heaven marks that you were awake for this, my child. Now let me tell you why this Monday is different, my child. And to do that, I have to show you something that happened in a place you have never seen. Before this word was ever sent to you, your guardian angel stood and presented your file before the throne of heaven. And I want you to understand what was written in it. In that file are the tears you wiped away before you stepped outside, so that no one would know you had been crying. In it are the nights your body lay still while your mind fought an invisible battle no one else could see. In it are the prayers you thought disappeared into the darkness, the ones you were so sure had gone unheard. In it is every time you forced yourself to rise when there was no one there to lift you. Every morning you got up and carried your life forward when staying down would have been easier. Heaven witnessed all of it, my beloved. Not one wound was overlooked. Not one sacrifice was forgotten. Not one moment you kept trusting me through the storm was ever wasted, my child. There are people who never once saw you cry, who assumed your life was easy because you carried it so quietly. And heaven has the record of every hour they never witnessed. There are seasons you survived that you have never spoken of to a single living soul, and they are written down in full, my beloved, in a place where nothing true is ever lost. Do not miss the difference, my child, because it matters more than you know tonight. Heaven did not merely watch what you endured. Heaven recorded it. There is a record with your name on it, and the record does not lie, and the record does not expire. And the record is about to be answered, because heaven does not keep a record in order to forget it. Heaven keeps a record in order to make it right. This Monday is part of the answer to a file you did not even know was being kept. So receive it now, my beloved, before you talk yourself out of it. Type "I receive this appointment" in the comments. Say it not as a hope, but as someone who already knows it is written, because when you type it, you are placing your own signature beside the record heaven has been keeping for you. This Monday is not merely a date on a calendar, my child. It is a sacred marker, placed deliberately into the divine blueprint of your life. A door that has stayed sealed. A door you may have stopped watching altogether because watching it only hurt, is finally going to begin to move. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." The end I am bringing you is expected in heaven even when it feels impossible to you. And Isaiah 43:19 says, "Behold, I will do a new thing, now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it?" The new thing is not far off, my beloved. It is springing forth this week. In a moment you will not have to manufacture and could not manufacture even if you tried, because I am the one arranging it. You could not have scheduled this meeting, my beloved, and you cannot delay it either. It does not depend on you being ready enough, or healed enough, or good enough. It depends on me, and I have already decided. My child, the appointment is set. The only question left in your hands is whether you will walk toward it believing or walk toward it braced for the worst. And if something in your spirit is quietly recognizing this as a word made for you and no one else, my child, then do not walk away from this voice. If a particular face just came to your mind or a particular door, if you know I am speaking to you and not to a stranger, then do not walk away from me. Stay with me here, follow this voice, so I can keep reaching you in this quiet place the way I reached you tonight. I do not want to reach you once, my beloved, and then lose you back into the noise that has cost you so much. Stay, and let me keep speaking to you here. Now let me tell you about the one heaven is moving toward you, my child, and I need you to hold this with an open hand, because your mind will want to make it smaller and more familiar than it is. The one I am moving toward you carries a piece of your destiny. It may come as a long-awaited confirmation of something you had almost stopped believing. It may come as an apology you were owed years ago and had given up ever hearing. It may come as a relationship restored, a family member, a friend, someone you thought was gone from your story for good. It may come as an unexpected opportunity, an open door, a key to the very assignment I placed in you before you were born. I am not telling you the exact shape of it, my beloved, because the shape is not the point. The point is that this Monday you will meet your divine answer face to face, and it will arrive carried in the hands of someone, or hidden inside a moment, that heaven has been quietly preparing all along. Do not shrink this down, my child, into only the one thing your heart keeps reaching for. Heaven's answers are often larger than the questions we know how to ask, and the door I am about to move may open onto something you did not even know to pray for. Beloved, something that touches not only your heart but your purpose, not only your longing but your calling. And what looks like hesitation on their side is not indifference. My child, do not read the silence you have seen as rejection. They may be preparing something for Monday even now, a simple invitation, a carefully chosen sentence they have rehearsed more times than you would believe, a small gift, an overdue apology they have not yet found the courage to speak, an act of kindness that will look completely ordinary on the surface. Heaven measures meaning differently than human eyes do, my beloved. What seems small in a human hand becomes a sacred signal the moment I breathe purpose into it. The one being moved toward you carries a hidden key. A key to a door you sealed after disappointment convinced you that staying closed was the only way to stay safe. If a face just surfaced in you as I spoke, my child, or a name, or the shape of a door you have not let yourself look at in a long time, do not push it away. Some part of you has already known who this is, or what this is. Before your mind gave you permission to say it, type, "I know who this is," in the comments. Say it not as an accusation, and not as a certainty you have to defend, but as the moment you finally stop pretending you did not feel what you felt. Because when you name a thing honestly before heaven, my beloved, you take back the power that pretending had quietly taken from you. But before you can walk into that room, my child, I have to heal the way you have been reading your own past, because you have been reading it wrong, and the wrong reading has been poisoning your hope. You have spent too long calling it abandonment. The empty seasons, the doors that closed without any explanation, the people who vanished exactly when you had finally begun to trust them. The prayers that seemed to come back to you unanswered, as if they had struck a ceiling and fallen to the floor. You looked at all of it, and you concluded that something must be wrong with you. Because nothing stayed, because no one stayed, because every good thing seemed to arrive only long enough to teach you not to hold it. Hear me, my beloved. The wilderness was never proof that I forgot your name. The storm did not come to destroy you, my child. The storm exposed what had no foundation, so that you would stop building your life on ground that could never hold it. The fire did not come to consume you. The fire burned away the version of you that kept accepting crumbs and calling them love. The version that mistook being wanted for being valued. The silence you hated taught you the difference between attention and devotion, between chemistry and character, between someone who merely wants access to you and someone who knows how to honor what I placed within you. I kept some doors shut, my beloved, not to punish you, but to protect what was still being formed in you. Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God hath before ordained that we should walk in them." You were being made in that wilderness. And Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose." Even the closed doors were working. Even the silence was working, my beloved. Nothing in that wilderness was idle, even when it looked to you like nothing at all was happening. The very seasons that felt the most empty were the ones in which I was doing the most hidden work. The way roots grow deepest in the months when nothing shows above the ground. And the delay was never only about you, my child. While you were being shaped on your side of the divine door, the other side was being worked on too. Pride was being confronted. Motives were being purified. The delay was working on both sides of the door at once. So if something in you is beginning to loosen as you hear this, my child, if the word abandonment is starting to lose its grip on a memory you have carried for years, then do not let the moment pass. Type "it was preparation" in the comments. Say it over the very seasons you once called your ruin. Because when you rename the wilderness as preparation, my beloved, you take a weapon out of the enemy's hand, and you hand the record of those years back to the God who was quietly working in them the whole time. And before I go any further, my child, I want to turn your heart outward for a moment, because there is someone else who needs this exact word tonight and has not found it yet. Someone who is still calling their preparation abandonment, someone still standing in front of a sealed door, convinced it will never move, afraid to even hope for a divine answer because hope has cost them too much before. They have not heard this yet. No one has told them that their wilderness was not their fault. If you have room in your heart tonight for someone you may never meet, sow a seed in their name, not as a payment, my beloved, and never as a transaction. Sow it as an act of love from one waiting heart to another, who has not yet learned that their door is about to move. Visit the link in the description below, or scan the QR code on screen, and let your seed carry this hope to the ones still standing in their wilderness. When you cover a stranger's sealed door with your faith, my child, heaven watches over yours. And as you step toward your own Monday, my child, there is something you are going to need, and I want you to ask me for it now so that your own spirit hears the request. You are going to need discernment, not suspicion, not fear dressed up in the clothing of wisdom. True discernment, the kind that lets you tell the difference between the voice of an old wound and the voice of my spirit. Type "make my discernment sharp" in the comments. Ask it as someone preparing for a real meeting, my beloved, not as someone bracing for another disappointment. Because when you ask me for discernment instead of asking me for a guarantee, you are telling heaven that you are ready to walk into that room with your eyes open and your heart still alive. Because here is what I need you to understand before Monday comes, my child. Some wounds do not announce themselves with tears. They hide inside your reactions. A message goes unanswered for an hour and your chest tightens. Someone changes their tone, and somewhere inside, you are already preparing for the worst. On the outside, you appear calm, steady, fine. But inside, a part of you has quietly begun bracing for an ending that has not come and may never come. This is not weakness, my beloved. Your heart simply learned to recognize danger before it ever learned to recognize safety. Because for a long time, danger was the thing that kept arriving. What once served you as armor has slowly, without your permission, become a prison, my child. The very thing that kept you alive in one season has started to keep you alone in this one. And I did not bring you all this way, my beloved, only to leave you locked inside the walls you built when you had no other way to survive. And I will tell you something tender, my child. Though it may be hard to hear, the greatest threat to your Monday may not be the person who walks toward you. It may be the voice inside you that interprets every unfamiliar kindness through the lens of old pain. I am not asking you to silence your discernment. I am not asking you to trust blindly, to fling open every door, to hand your heart to whoever reaches for it. I am asking you to stop letting yesterday's betrayal sit as a judge over someone who has not yet harmed you. Hear the difference, my beloved, because everything depends on it. A boundary says you may come closer when trust has been earned. A wall says, no one will ever come close enough to know me. A boundary protects your peace. A wall starves your heart. I am not making you into someone who builds walls, my child. I am teaching you to build a gate with a keeper who decides in wisdom who may enter and who may not. And do not be afraid that a guarded heart cannot be reached, because light does not need a wide entrance to begin changing a dark room. Even the smallest opening is enough for me to work through, so you do not have to choose, my child, between being safe and being loved. That was always a lie, my beloved. I am teaching you the third way that the wounded rarely believe exists. The way of the guarded heart, that is still fully alive, still warm, still able to be reached by the right hands at the right time. And if you know this word found you on purpose today, my child, if you feel that these are not the words of a stranger, but the voice of the one who has watched over your whole life, then know that this is not the last thing I have to say to you. There is far more here for you tonight. Follow this voice, my beloved, so the next word can find you too, the way this one did. I do not want to speak to you once and lose you back into the noise. Stay near, and let me keep reaching you here. And because you have stayed with me this far, my child, when so much was pulling for your attention, I want you to know that what I am releasing now is specifically for the ones who held on. Not everyone reached this moment. You did. So let me heal something in you that you have needed healed for a long time. Let me mend the part of you that learned to guard by shutting down without taking away the wisdom that pain taught you. If something in your chest just loosened as I said that, if your shoulders dropped even slightly, if a breath came a little easier, do not rush past it, my beloved. That was your body agreeing with your spirit. Type heal me. Keep my wisdom in the comments. Ask for both. My child, because I am able to give you both. I can heal the fear without erasing the discernment, and I can soften the armor without ever leaving you unguarded. Now I must confront a lie that has been living in you for years, my child. Because if you carry it into Monday, it will rob you of everything I am bringing. The lie grew a little stronger every time someone criticized the part of you that needed patience. It grew every time someone withdrew their affection the moment you expressed a need. It grew every time you were made to feel guilty for wounds you did not create. And slowly you came to believe that love had to be earned through perfect behavior, that you had to be flawless to be chosen and acceptable to be kept. So you began editing yourself. My beloved, you learned to hide the parts of you that had been used against you before. You started rejecting yourself first, quietly, before anyone else could do it to you. But I never once asked you for a flawless version of yourself, beloved. I asked for the real one, the unedited one, the one you have hidden behind the performance for so long that you almost forgot she was still in there, waiting. But hear me, my child. Your value is not standing in a courtroom awaiting a human verdict. You do not have to arrive Monday completely healed. You do not have to walk into that room as a finished, flawless, fully repaired version of yourself in order to be worthy of what I am bringing. David was overlooked by his own family before he was ever anointed as king. Peter failed publicly, loudly in front of everyone, before he was restored and made a foundation stone. And Psalm 147:3 says, He healeth the broken in heart, and bindeth up their wounds. Hear the order of it, my beloved. I come near to the broken-hearted. I do not stand at a distance and demand that they repair themselves first before I will approach. I draw near while they are still broken. and the drawing near is itself the beginning of the mending. You can be unfinished and still worthy, my child. You can be in the very middle of your healing and still be exactly the one I choose. So lay the lie down right now, my child, before it can follow you into that room. You are not auditioning for your own life. You are not on trial. Type "I am worthy" while I heal in the comments. Declare it as the truth it is, not the hope you wish were true. Because when you say that you are worthy in the middle of your healing, and not only at the end of it, my beloved, you take the gavel out of every hand that ever tried to pass a verdict on you, and you hand it back to the only one who has the right to judge, the one who has already called you his own. Now let me give you wisdom for the meeting itself, my child, because I do not want you to enter Monday casually. Before you walk into that room, bring the meeting to my throne first. And as you do, decide with me what will not be allowed into that room with you. The person who betrayed you cannot be permitted to speak through your reactions. The one who abandoned you cannot be allowed to stand invisibly between you and someone new, whispering their old accusations into a moment they have no right to touch. This is what forgiveness is really for, my beloved. Forgiveness does not reopen a locked door to someone who is unsafe. Forgiveness removes their hand from your future, so that they can no longer steer what happens next. Examine your armor honestly, my child. Some of it is genuine wisdom, hard-won and worth keeping, and some of it is only fear wearing the clothing of wisdom, and it is time to tell the two apart. Do not punish this person for the crimes of someone else. Do not test them through coldness. Do not hide behind silence and call it discernment. True discernment does not make you paranoid, my beloved. It makes you observant. Watch whether their actions agree with their words. Watch how they respond when you express a limit. Watch how they speak about people who are not in the room. Watch whether their presence leaves you with clarity or with confusion. And remember this, my child, peace is not always excitement. Sometimes peace will feel unfamiliar to you, even strange, because chaos once trained your heart to mistake intensity for love. Do not mistake calm for the absence of something real. Sometimes calm is the very thing you have been praying for all along. So do not let an old appetite for chaos talk you out of a peace I am offering you, my child. Learn the sound of my peace, my beloved, and do not be afraid of it when it feels quieter than the storms you had grown used to. And now I must turn and speak with a different weight in my voice, because there is an accounting that has to be named, and it cannot be named in the same soft tone I have used until now. There were ones who promised they would stay, and then disappeared without a word, without an explanation, leaving you to invent reasons for a silence they never had the decency to fill. There were the hands that reached for your trust only to use it against you, that studied your softness, so they would know exactly where to aim. There were the words of love that produced nothing but confusion and shame, spoken by mouths that knew what they were doing. There were the ones who made you believe you were too much, and the ones who made you believe you were not enough. Sometimes the very same people in the very same season. There were the ones who left you in the wilderness and then called it your fault, who broke something and handed you the blame for the breaking. I saw every one of them. I was in every room you were abandoned in. Not one of them escaped my notice. I heard the promises the very moment they were broken. I watched the trust the very moment it was betrayed, and I did not look away, and I did not forget, and I did not decide that because you survived it, it therefore did not matter. And hear the accounting now, in the authority of the one who kept the record. Heaven recorded every abandonment. Heaven recorded every careless word ever spoken over you, every dismissal made in passing that stayed lodged in you for years. None of it went unwritten. The ones who walked away convinced they could do better, convinced that what they left behind was worth leaving, will one day face the empty echo of what they abandoned. Not by your hand. The accounting belongs to me, not to you, and that is exactly why you can stay in your peace and never once raise your voice. Isaiah 54:17 says it, and I say it over you now: no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me. The weapons were formed. I will not pretend they were not, but they shall not prosper, and they shall not have the final word. And Exodus 14:14 gives you your only assignment in all of this. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. You do not build the case, You do not chase the ones who left. You hold your peace, and you let me fight. And hear this, and let it settle every argument the enemy has ever made against your future. Those who wounded you never received authority to write your ending. They wrote pain into some of your chapters. They never once held the pen for your final page. Agree with the verdict I have spoken, my child, not as an act of revenge, but as an act of surrender. Type, "They will not write my ending" in the comments. Say it as someone laying down the burden of proving themselves and handing the whole case to me. Because when you type it, the record shows that you stepped out of the fight and that you let heaven take up the accounting you were never meant to carry. And now, in the strength of what has just been settled, sow a seed as a declaration, my beloved, not because you owe anything, and never as a payment. Sow it as a way of saying, with your whole spirit, that you trust me to prepare this meeting and to fight the battles you cannot see, that you release the ones who wounded you into my hands, and that you are stepping toward your divine answer in faith rather than fear. Let the seed be a planted yes, an outward sign of an inward decision that heaven is your defender and you will be still. Visit the link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen, and let your seed become the declaration that you have handed the fight to the one who wins it. When you plant faith instead of fear, my child, you are agreeing with the God who has already ruled in your favor. Now lift your eyes, my child, because there is something about Monday you have not yet considered. You are not walking into that room empty-handed. You have been so focused on what you are hoping to receive that you have not seen what you are carrying. While you were praying for someone who would not misuse your heart, it may be that they were praying for someone who understands what pain does to a person. Your suffering did not only damage you, my beloved. I have been quietly transforming parts of it into compassion, into discernment, into a spiritual weight that most people never gain. You know what it feels like to speak and not be heard. That is exactly why your attention can become a place of safety for someone who has spent their life being talked over. You know what it feels like to be abandoned in a storm. That is exactly why your presence carries more power than you realize. But hear me clearly, my child, because this is where my children so often stumble. You are not being sent to rescue them. You are not being sent to repair them, or to sacrifice yourself until nothing of you remains. I alone hold that place. I am the only savior in that room. Your assignment is simpler and far lighter than the one you have been trying to carry. Be present without pretending. Offer kindness without losing your boundaries. That is all. The rest is mine, my child. You were never meant to be anyone's savior, my beloved, and the moment you finally lay that impossible weight down, you will have far more room in your hands to receive the very thing I am actually bringing you. And I want to show you the three faces of the miracle that is coming, my child, so that you know exactly what to expect, and just as importantly, what not to expect. The first is the immediate miracle. In the moment your eyes meet, something in you may recognize what words have never been able to explain. A heaviness you have carried for a long time may simply lift. One honest sentence, spoken or heard, could release months of pressure that had nowhere to go. Do not despise a small beginning, my beloved. Heaven so often starts enormous things in quiet, unremarkable moments that no one else would notice. But hear this too, because it will protect you. A powerful feeling is not the same as a completed promise. Do not mistake the first spark for the finished fire. Let the feeling be what it is, my child, a true and holy beginning, and let me be the one who carries it the rest of the way. The second phase is the miracle of process, my child. What begins on Monday may require time and prayer and consistency before its full purpose becomes visible. Not everything I start is finished the same day it begins. Trust is rebuilt through small, faithful choices, not through grand declarations made in a single emotional moment. So do not rush ahead of me, my beloved. Divine acceleration does not mean emotional recklessness. I can move quickly and still ask you to move wisely. Let the thing unfold at the pace I set for it, and do not tear it up by the roots just to check whether it is growing. Trust that what I plant, I also keep, my beloved. The waiting you have already done was not wasted, and the waiting that may still remain will not be wasted either. And the third phase is the miracle that remains, my child. And it may be the most important of all, even if the person's role in your life turns out to be different from what you imagined. Even if the shape of the answer surprises you. This encounter can permanently alter the story you have been telling yourself. It can prove to you that your heart is not too broken to feel again. It can show you that kindness can exist without manipulation, that closeness can exist without captivity, that someone can come near you without coming to take something from you. The lasting miracle, my beloved, is that fear will no longer control every door in your life. That is a gift that will outlast the meeting itself, no matter what the meeting turns out to be. And that, my child, is a door that no disappointment can ever close on you again, because it was opened from the inside by me in you. And if your spirit has been quietly saying yes through this whole message, my child, if something in you has been nodding along beneath the level of words, then you already know this is where you belong. Stay by following this voice, my beloved, and let it become the place I speak to you again and again. Do not receive this once, and then wander back into the noise that has cost you so much. Stay near. The next word is already being prepared, and it was made for you the way this one was. Now let me tell you the deepest secret of all, my child, the one I have been saving for the ones who stayed to hear it. The person you meet on Monday is not the whole miracle. They are not even the largest part of it. The deepest work heaven is doing is not happening across a room from you. It is happening inside you. The true miracle is that I am restoring what darkness spent years trying to destroy. I am restoring your ability to recognize healthy love when it finally stands in front of you, after so long of only recognizing the counterfeit. I am restoring your courage to be seen without performing, to be known without auditioning. I am restoring your wisdom to remain open without abandoning your boundaries, to keep your heart soft and your gate guarded at the very same time. These are not small repairs, my beloved. This is the rebuilding of the deepest architecture of your heart, the part of you that decides what you will let yourself believe about love, about safety, and about your own worth. And I am not rebuilding it carelessly, my child. I am rebuilding it with my own hands, and this meeting, my beloved, is connected to a sacred assignment that has been sleeping inside you. For too long, pain forced you to use all of your strength simply to survive. Every ounce of your endurance went into staying upright, into making it through one more day. But now I am turning that strength outward. The compassion that was formed in your suffering, the discernment that was sharpened through betrayal, the voice you recovered in the isolation you thought would break you. All of it is about to become part of how you serve and encourage and protect others. You are not simply being led toward a person, my child. You are being awakened to the version of yourself that fear tried to bury. She was never gone, my child. She was only waiting, buried under years of survival, for a voice she trusted enough to call her back up into the light. This is that voice, my beloved. This is that call. And I say it again so that it sinks past every doubt still standing in you. Those who wounded you never received authority to write your ending. They are not the authors of your story, my daughter. I am. If something in you rose just now, my child, a quiet warmth, a steadying, a sense of your own spine returning to you as I spoke of the assignment sleeping inside you, do not talk yourself out of it. That was recognition. That was the part of you that has been waiting to be useful again, hearing that its season is finally coming. Type "use my presence for healing" in the comments. Offer it the way a vessel offers itself, my beloved, because the very presence that pain once tried to silence is about to become a place where other people find their safety. When you type it, you are saying yes to the assignment before you have even seen its full shape. And because I love you, my child, I have to warn you about what is coming in the next hours and days. Something is going to test what you decided here tonight. The old fear is going to rise, and it may rise strong. It will try to make you interpret every unfamiliar kindness as a hidden danger. It will try to convince you to run before Monday even comes, to seal the door again, to talk yourself out of the very hope I just gave you, because hope has hurt before, and the fear remembers. When that pull comes, my beloved, do not be afraid of it, and do not mistake what it is. That pressure is not proof that this was wrong. It is the old wound resisting your healing, because the wound knows what your freedom would cost it. So when the urge to close the door rises hard in you, do not read it as wisdom. Read it as the last resistance of a thing that is losing its grip on you. Feel the pull, my child, and keep the door open anyway. And I want you to know why you were able to receive all of this tonight, when so many would have scrolled right past it. Because you did not skip this message, my child. Because you stayed still when stillness is the hardest thing in a world built to keep you moving. Because you chose to remain when everything around you was pulling at your attention. Heaven has held something in reserve specifically for the ones who stay to the end, and you are one of them. What comes next in your days was prepared for you, but it required this moment. It required you to stop and receive the word that would let you walk into Monday with your eyes open and your heart alive. And you did, so it will. So come close now, my beloved, and let me pray this over you the way a father prays over a child he is sending into a new and better season. I thank you, Father, for this one in front of me tonight, for every tear they wiped away before anyone could see it, for every night they fought an invisible battle and rose again in the morning, for every prayer they thought had vanished, which was heard and kept, and never once lost. Now, my daughter, receive what heaven speaks over your life. Healing where the old wound taught you to brace. Peace where fear once ruled every door. Wisdom that guards you without ever hardening you. And a Monday that arrives not as a test you must pass, but as an appointment of grace that was written for you before you were born. Walk into it unafraid, my child. I will be in the room before you ever get there. I will be standing in the doorway when you arrive, and I will be the peace you feel when the moment finally comes, and I will be the steadiness underneath your own voice when you speak. You will not walk in alone, beloved. You have never once walked in alone. And as you rise from this moment, my beloved, make your declaration with your own mouth, so that heaven and your own spirit both hear it at once. You are not the one who runs anymore. You are not the one who seals the door and calls it safety. Type, "I will not run from this" in the comments. Declare it as something already decided, not something you are still trying to do, because when you type it, you are signing your name to the appointment. And heaven records the signature of the ones who finally stopped running from the good that was coming for them. Chosen, if this word reached the deep place in you tonight, then there is a specific face that came to your mind while I was speaking, or a specific door you already know is about to move, or a specific answer you have been waiting on longer than you would admit to anyone before you go. I want to invite you to sow a seed over that exact thing, not for a stranger this time, and not as a broad gesture, but for the specific answer heaven brought to your mind and the specific door that is about to open. Let this seed be a way of saying, with your own hands, that you believe it is real and that you are choosing to walk toward it in faith instead of fear. Visit the link in the description below, or scan the QR code on screen, and sow a seed over the divine answer you are about to meet. And may the God who directs your steps, who kept every tear in his record and never once forgot your name, who sealed some doors only to protect what he was forming in you, bring you face to face with your answer this Monday. May the wilderness finally give way to the meeting it was preparing you for all along. May your heart be guarded and free at the very same time. And may you walk into that room knowing that the one who arranged it is already standing inside it, waiting to be recognized. It is already moving. It is already yours. Walk toward it. Be blessed.